You're going to be seeing some artsy photos like the one you see right here, but after that, a lot of plants and flowers along with their 100 crops. So you can see the detail, or in some cases, the lack thereof. But in a lot of situations, you're going to find that this camera really does capture color very well and leads to a lot of vivid photos. In the past, especially with the Samsung Galaxy S4, vividness inside of these photos was really its big milieu, and it continues to be so, now powered by the ISOCELL camera. What you're going to see also are examples of various modes like the selective focus with the near focus here, and then the far focus in this particular photo. And then in the next photo, I played around with the subjects a little bit to have a bunch in the front, and then you see the palm tree in the middle, in the back, that is then put into focus. So you're going to see more examples of the selective focus in a bit. Now let's take a look at some crops. Now the focal point in this photo was actually on the left where the leaves are. And as you can see, the line of the leaf actually is pretty defined and separates it from the background. Now we'll look at some textual elements like this gift shop open sign, which looks pretty good, but once you zoom in, the HOP is a little bit blurred and doesn't have that sharpness that we would like. That sharpness, however, is found in this photo where we zoom into the actual sign itself and find that the text is rendered pretty well, probably because of the high contrast of the black and the white. And we see somewhere in the middle with this stop sign, the sharpness that we're looking for in the text, as the S here and the sign itself is separated pretty well from the background. Let's go back to the modes. Now, it was a super sunny day all over the Arboretum, so I didn't have too many opportunities to use HDR, but this is probably my favorite example, in which the background was super shady and dark, but the high dynamic range allowed me to really liven it up. Now when it comes to selective focus, which I used quite a bit, I did want to get pan focuses in which the foreground and the background are in focus, but as the software tries to find the line to draw between the two, sometimes it leaves a bit of blur between the two particular areas. In this case, you can see that blur on top of the arm of this chair, and it leaves an interesting and kind of hit and miss type of effect. Here's my wrist in the foreground, and then when I try to make a pan focus here, that blur kind of makes my wrist look really fake in this particular photo. So the selective focus might be a bit of a hit and miss. In this case, it's a miss because you can see that the red flowers were supposed to be the foreground, but it got blurred out. And then in this case, since the lines aren't really defined in the water, it just had to sort of guess on its own. One interesting feature I found in this camera was the virtual tour, in which you are able to take various pictures almost in like a photosphere way, moving forward and to the left and to the right in order to create a nice virtual tour of the surroundings that you're in. The video is so small though because, well, this is how it is rendered in the phone at a very low resolution, so this is what it would look like if you extracted it. And after one last peacock sighting, which actually gave me a pretty good example of the sharpness you can get from this camera, I decided to head off and grab myself a cup of coffee. So here are some indoor shots using the Samsung Galaxy S5's camera. The indoor shots, given that there's not as much light as you would have, obviously, out in the daylight, does yield lesser detailed photos, as you can see in this particular crop right here. Nonetheless, the camera does seem to perform quite well, and you are able to have fun with it in pretty much any situation. But the lower the light, the less detail you're going to get in your photos, which is something that we pretty much expect from smartphone cameras anyway.